So we are going to go over the study guide for your final exam. This is the only opportunity I will give for you all. If you copy down what I copy down word for word, and it's not just circling the answer choice, but if it looks like mine word for word, I will give you a 10% bonus on your final. So, for example, if you get a 65% on your final, I will bump you up to a 75% on the final. I will also let you use your study guide on the final, but only your study guide, and I will not let you use your study guide on any other test in the future. I only do this for the final exams. All right, so with that being said, make sure you copy down what is on my paper, word for word, what's on my paper. All right, plus it's going to help you on the final. Number one, name the type of function. If it is a straight line like this, it is linear. So you're going to circle C for linear. Quadratic would be one of the U shapes. Whether it's that one or the upside down U, it would be a U shape. Cube root function is going to be that S shape. And then the square root function is going to be like a half of a graph of an arrow like that. Now, of course, these can be anywhere on any of the quadrants. So you're just kind of looking at the shape and you write down the shape. Okay, question number 2. So graph each equation. I'm going to put the graph over here off to the side. So first thing I would do is look and see which way does the thing open. If it is positive in the front, it's going to open up. If it's negative in the front, it's going to open down. So if you're looking in the front of this thing, there's no sign, so it's going to open up. But if you look at all your answer choices, they all open up. So that's not really going to help too much. All right, if you look at the 2, if there's no number, it's going to be normal. If you have a number that is greater than 1, so that would be this case, you're going to have a vertical stretch. And if you have a number that is between 0 and 1, meaning it's a fraction in the front, and basically your fraction is going to be less than 1, that would be a vertical compression. Okay, so hopefully you remember stretch means it's skinny, compression means it's wider. Okay, so this one's going to be a skinny graph. I still don't think we can really eliminate anything based off of that. So we're going to go to the next piece here. Okay, so this is opposite from the quadrant grid. So if it is positive, you're going to go left. If this guy is negative, you're going to go to the right. Okay, so in this specific case, we're going to go left 4. Looking at the very last digit, if it's positive, you'll go up. If it's negative, you will go down. So in this specific case, we're going to open up. You're going to have a vertical stretch. I'm going to use VS for vertical stretch. We're going to go left 4 and down 1 because it's negative. So that's what we're looking for. Main thing you need to look for, left 4, down 1, and then it opens up. Those are the things I would focus on. Look at A, it goes to the right. Nope. B goes to the right. C goes to the left, but it opens up, or goes up, instead of down. So your answer choice for that one is D. Okay, number 3. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. So you want to see which axis is this thing crossing through. So if you look and read it down here, it's crossing through the x. So I need an x equals number. What is the numbers crossing through? -1, so that is going to be C. Okay, I'm going to do another one off to the side in case it doesn't cross through your axes evenly. So if you happen to have one that is a straight line, the first thing you want to figure out, what is the y-intercept? So where is it crossing the y-axis? So if I look right here, it's crossing at negative or +1. So that's +1 right there. Then you want to count your slope. You always go up or down and then to the right. So we go up 2. And since we went up, it's going to be positive. If we would go down, it would be negative. So up 2, and then we went over 2. You want to reduce your fraction. So 2 divided by 2 is just 1. Put it together, and you get y equals mx plus b. The b is the y-intercept, and the m is the slope. So y equals 1x plus 1, which is the same thing as x plus 1. Okay. All right, number 4. Solve the system by any method. Okay, so you can do substitution on here. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this. Since it has y equals by itself, I would do substitution. So 5x minus 1 is the y. So I'm taking this and plugging it into that y. So that equals x plus 3. Okay, so then what you're going to do is I would move this x over to here and then the 1 over to the other side. So I would minus x on both sides. So 5 minus the 1 would be 4. And then I would move the 1 to the other side. So opposite of subtraction would be addition. So I would add 1 to both sides. So 1 minus 1 is 0, so that just cancels. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then the opposite here of timesing would be dividing. So I would divide by 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And then I would take that and plug it into either one of the x's. I would choose the top equation because I think it's going to be the easiest. So we have x plus 3. So we get y equals 1 plus 3. So y equals 4. Put this in a coordinate, x comma y. So we get 1 comma 4. So your answer would be C. Now the other option of doing this is taking each one of these answers and plugging it into the equation and seeing if it works. So this would be your x coordinate. This would be your y coordinate. So your other option, so option 1 is to do substitution or elimination. Option 2, which might be easier, is to plug in the answers. Okay, so I'm going to plug 1 in for the x and -4 into the y. And then you check to see if it works or not. So 1 plus 3 is 4 equal -4. Does that work? No, so it's not A. Okay, I'm going to do C because I know C is the answer. So, so this was for choice A. Then I would plug them in for choice B. So I would plug in 4 equal 1 plus 3. So 1 plus 3 is 4. So 4 equals 4. That is a true statement. So I know that one works. Then I would do the same thing, plug in your x, plug in your y. For the second equation, you have to check both. So does 4 equal 5 times 1 minus 1? Well, 5 times 1 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So does 4 equal 4? Yes. So if it works for both, then you can pick, that wasn't choice B, by the way. Sorry. That was choice C. So it's C. Okay. So I don't care if you do this option or this option. Just figure out which option you want to do and get it correct. Okay, question number 5. I'm going to write your equation out here. 1/2 x plus 1 squared minus 1. First thing I would do is figure out which way does it open. So this opens up because it's positive. A opens down, so you can cross that out. It's not A. B opens up, so that's a choice. C opens down, so that's a no-go. And D opens down, so that's a no-go. So just based off of if you knew if it opened up or down, the answer is B. Okay. Let's go ahead and go through the rest of it. The 1/2, and I would look at question number 2, because it's the same format of how this graph shifts is at question number 2. So since this is a 1/2, that's less than 1, this would be a vertical compression. The +1, because it's positive, means we're going to go left 1, and then the -1 means we would go down 1. So you can get all of this information by referring back to question number 2. Okay, question number 6. Again, I would look at the very beginning and figure out which way does this graph open. So looking at the beginning, this opens up because it's positive. So all the ones that open down, I can cancel out. So A opens down and B opens down because your arrows are pointing down. So I can cancel those two out. All right, then your formula that you are going to need is negative b over 2a. So that's the formula you need. This goes in order of the alphabet. So this guy's your a, that guy's your b, and that guy's your c. The negative on the b means that you're going to change the sign. And you're not changing the sign over here. You change the sign when you plug it into your formula. So don't go here and put a plus sign because that's going to mess you up when you go to do your vertex. So what we're going to do is plug this into here. So your b is -6, so we're going to write down a +6. So +6 over 2, and then since there's no number in the front, you have to assume that it's 1. So it's 2 times 1. So we have 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is going to be your axis of symmetry. So that means the dotted line in the middle. So if I look right here, my axis of symmetry is 3 on C. And if I look here on D, it's also 3. So I cannot eliminate D or C because the axis of symmetry is at 3. So I have to go through, you're going to plug this into the x's. Okay, so the 3 is going to go into the x's. So whatever your axis of symmetry is, you're going to plug it in. When you plug it in the very beginning, since there was no number right there, you have to plug it in parentheses. If you do not plug it in this way, your calculator will lie to you. That is a promise. So make sure you put the number in parentheses when you plug it in. Okay, and then I would type this in as one big string into the calculator. Okay, so we're going to start with the parenthesis, type in your 3. The squared button is diagonal from the 7. -6 parentheses 3 plus 7. Key that in as one big string, and it pops out -2 as the answer. So your vertex is 3, -2. So we just need to make sure we have a dot there. So that would be this one here. So it would be C because right here is 3, -2. It's not D because that would be 3, +2. Okay, number 7, identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. All right, axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. Again, you need to change the sign on the b. So since I have b as positive 10, we are going to plug b in as negative 10. And your a is negative 1. So this is negative 10 divided by negative 2. Make sure you always multiply down here. Do not key this in the calculator as one big string. It will lie and it will pop out the wrong answer. All right, negative 10 divided by negative 2 is a positive 5. Look at your answer choices. We got positive 5. This says negative 7, so it's not B. This here says 7, it's not C, so I just need to confirm if it's A or D. Plug that into the formula. Well, when I mean formula, I mean the equation given. Okay, because it's not really a specific formula. It's whatever the x is in the equation. Okay, so since I start with a negative, you have to have a negative in the front. Then you plug in your number for the x. Okay, if you do not plug this in parentheses into the calculator, it will lie and it will pop out the wrong answer. That is a promise. So make sure you put these in parentheses. The very beginning negative goes out in the front. I can't emphasize that enough. All right, you just keying that in as one big string, negative in front of the parentheses when you key this in. Okay. Oh, and I already made a mistake in the calculator, and I knew I made a mistake because this is negative 107. There's no way that is right. So if you look, I hit a negative in here, and I didn't. I wanted positive 5, not negative 5. So I'm just going to go through and hit the delete button right there. Okay, so that pops out negative 7. So the answer for this one will be A. All right, number 8, identify the max and the min. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is figure out which way does the graph open. So since I have a negative in the front, that is going to open down. So your graph's going to look like that, which means this is going to be a maximum. If it opened up, which it doesn't in this case, but if it did open up, then it would go this way, and you would have a min. Okay, so based off of that, I can already eliminate some of my choices because I know I have a maximum and not a minimum. So I can eliminate B, and that's about it. All right, so we need to plug this into negative B over 2A. So the 56 is your B. You need to change the sign. So negative 56 over 2 and negative 4 is going to be the other number. So we need to do negative 56 divided by negative 8. And then I would just key that into the calculator. That is going to pop out 7. Okay, this is not the answer. It is an answer option, but that is not the correct answer. You must plug it in. Okay, so you have to plug that into the x's. So we have negative 4 parentheses 7 squared plus 56 times 7 minus 194. We're going to plug that in, and then this will pop out the real answer. Okay, so that whole thing popped out too. This one is the answer. So we are going to pick A for number Okay, number 9, describe the end behavior. So the first thing you got to do is you need to look at what they gave you. So this one is a negative, and then you need to look at the degree. So the degree is your exponent. So the degree is 2. You need to ask yourself, is that even or is that odd? So that is even. So I like to picture a mini graph in my head. So it's going to be like that. So as x goes to infinity, that's the right arrow. Y goes to infinity. As x goes to negative infinity, y goes to, that's the left arrow, positive infinity. Okay, so this is the answer choice that we're looking at. The y is considered f of x. So when you see f of x, that is in reference of the y. Okay, so the thing that you really need to pay attention to is this half here, because this is the y half. So we want positive, positive. Okay, so we're looking positive, negative, positive, so it's not A. Look here, positive, negative, it's not B. Positive, positive, that's what we want. It is C. Oh, wait. I forgot the negative in the front. This opens down. Okay, so it's not C because this opens up. This would be the positive case. All right, so degree is 2. And let's say it's even, but then we have a negative. We need to do all the cases anyway. So that would open down. So as x goes to infinity, y would go to negative infinity. X goes to negative infinity, y would go to negative infinity because both of the arrows are pointing down. This is the case we have. I forgot the negative in the front because I drew the line over it and didn't really see it. So your real answer is D. Okay. All right, let's go over the other 2 cases. So this is what you have if they give you even. These are your answers. If they give you degree is 3, that would be odd. And let's say it's positive, it would look like this. So as x goes to infinity, that's the right arrow, y goes to infinity. As x goes to negative infinity, that's the left arrow, y goes to negative infinity. All right, and then we need to do degree is 3, which is odd, and then we need to do the negative case. So the negative case would flip it like this. So as x goes to infinity, y goes to, that's the right arrow, negative infinity. X goes to negative infinity, y goes to, that is the left arrow, positive infinity. Okay, so these here are your answer choices for number 9. The only part you're going to need to look at is this part here. Make sure you pay attention to the beginning, which I kind of scribbled over mine, if it's positive or negative, and just figure out which case you have. Okay, number 10. This should be the easiest one on the entire test besides number 1. All you have to do is plug this into the x. Okay, so you just plug that number into x. So we are looking at 6 squared minus 1. When you plug it in, make sure you use parentheses around it. The calculator lies if you don't. So 6 squared minus 1, that is 35. So your answer for that one is A. Okay, number 11, you need to look at the signs in between the parentheses. If the sign is a positive, you do not change the signs. Okay? Okay, we're not going to change the signs because that's a positive. So what you're going to do is start with your highest exponent and figure out doesn't match anything. So 3p to the 4th, I look over here, there's nothing else that has that. So I need to start with 3p to the fourth. Then I'm going to look for the 3's. Okay, so we need to add 7 and 6 together. So 7 and 6 is 13. You leave the exponents alone. You are not changing exponents at all. Go with the next one, which is your p squared. And we're just doing what it says. 8 minus 3, that would be 5. And then the 6 doesn't match anything, so you just tag it on at the end. This was D. You could have gotten that from the very beginning number, because that was the only one that had 3p to the fourth. Okay. Okay, 12 is on the same kind of vibe. Because I have a negative here, I'm only changing signs from one parenthesis set to the other parenthesis set. Okay. Oh, I cannot spell today. Okay, so change signs because it's a negative. You stop changing signs when you hit the end of the parentheses. So we're going to go plus, that's going to go negative, plus, plus. All right, now we're just going to do the matching thing. So find the b to the fourth. I think it's just those two. All right, so we just need to add 5 plus 7, so that's 12b to the fourth. So if I look, I know it's going to be either C or D. Okay, go to your next exponent. There is no 3's, so we're going to go with the 2's. So negative 2b squared, a positive 8, and then a positive 3. And if you want, you can just use your calculator and key it in as one string. So negative 2 plus 8 plus 3. Pop that in, so it's plus 9. Okay, then we just need to go to the last digit. So that would be 4b minus 2b minus another b. Okay, so 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So your answer for this one is C. All right, number 13. So this is the distributive property method. So we're going to do this times this, then this times that, then that times that, and that times that. Okay, so start with 2 times 7. So 2 times 7 is 14. And then you figure out how many v's do you have? We have 2, so v squared. 2 times 1 is 2v. Then you're going to do the underside part, so negative 6 times 7. So that would be negative 42v. Then negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. You're going to drop down your first and your last term. You're going to add in the middle. So positive 2 and a negative 42. That would be a negative 40v. When you add, you leave the exponent alone. So your answer for number 13 is B. All right, number 14, it's the same thing. You just need to write this out twice. Okay. It looks like we're going to run a little short on time, so I'm going to skip the work on 14 and just tell you that the answer is B. If I have time, I will come back to it. Okay, number 15. You will be allowed to do synthetic division on number 15. So the first thing I would do is change the sign and put that in a box. So instead of positive 10, we're going to have negative 10. I'm going to put it in a box. You're going to write down the coefficients from the highest degree. If there are missing exponents, you're going to use 0 as a placeholder. So the first one would be 1 because there's no number in the front, so it's 1. Then we have a 20. Then we have 107 and then 61. If these had negative signs, you would fill in with negatives on here. You're going to drop down the first guy, then you're going to multiply, then add. Okay, so negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. You're going to add going up and down. 20 minus 10 would be 10. Negative 10 times 10 will be negative 100. 107 minus 100 is 7. 7 times negative 10 is negative 70. 61 and a negative 70 would be a negative 9. When you do your answer, you're going to go one less than the highest exponent. So n squared plus 10n plus 7, remainder negative 9. All your remainders are these things here. So this would be your remainder. Okay, so the remainder, so this one is D, the remainder is negative 9. Okay, number 16. So you want to do common factor first. And then you want to do your X factor method second. Okay, so I can take out a K because if I look in all the spots, every single spot has a K, so I need a K in the front. So we're going to have K squared, so you subtract the exponents. So 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, and then you have it like that. Okay. You can do your little mini X. The K comes in the front. Do our answer block here. So your first number here is coming down here. Your middle number comes down here. And then the one at the top is your first times the last. So 1 times 32 is 32. You want to times those together. Okay, so we need to multiply to 32, and because this last digit is a plus, we need to add to 2. So I need to come up with two numbers that will multiply to 32, and then when I get the two numbers, I need to add to 2. You can kind of look at your cheat guide over here off to the side. I can already eliminate B and D because there's no K in the front. I'm going to guess it's probably going to be an 8 and a 4. So let's try it. 32 divided by 8 is 4, and 8 plus 4 is 12. Oh, that middle number is 12. Oh, I missed the 1. It needs to add to 12, not 2. I missed the 1 on there. Sorry, guys. Make sure you make that adjustment that it needs to add to 12. So they do add to 12, so I know I'm going to have a K, and I know I'm going to have an 8 and a 4. So an 8 goes here and a 4 goes here. So look at the signs. If you end on a plus, they're the same. And the first number is what they both are. So they are both positives. So bottoms up, so I have 1K plus 8. And then the next one is going to be 1K plus 4. So look at your answer choices, and this is going to be A. Okay, 17, you can just start straight off with your X. There's nothing that's going to be able to divide into all of these, so your first number comes here. Your middle number comes down here, so I'm going to put 5 here, and 1 times 24 is 24. Make sure you multiply the first times the last. Okay, so we need to times to 24, and because this is a minus, we need to minus to 5. Okay, look at your answer choices. Something tells me it's not going to be C, because you're just going to have your straight up answer block. It's going to look like that for your answers. So it's either going to be 4, 6, or 8 and 3. So let's just take 24. Let's try the 8 number. So 8 minus 3 is 5. So we're going to use the 8 and the 3. So an 8 and a 3. It's not going to be the 6 and 4, so I can cross out A. All right, now we got to work the signs. So if I end on a minus, they are different signs, and this is the sign of the bigger number. Always do your bigger number before you reduce the sides. If you are ones underneath, you won't be reducing. Okay, 8 is negative, 3 is positive, so bottoms up. So we're going to have K minus 8, and then the next one is going to be K plus 3. we are going to pick option B for 17. Okay, 18. When you have numbers that have 3 like that, you need to do a common factor first. So I need to figure out what goes into 9, 105, and 216. Okay, so we're going to see if 105 divides by 9. It does not. I also know the only other number that goes into 9 is 3, so we're going to try 3. If you did not know that, then I would divide by 8. Take the 105, divide by 8, and go down, so on and so forth. I already know it's going to be 3 based off of time's sake. That's what we're going to use. So we're going to take out a 3. Okay, and then 9 divided by 3 is 3. 105 divided by 3 is 35. 216 divided by 3 is 72. Okay, 3 is going to come down in the front. We're going to start our little X template, start our answer block. Okay, so based off of that, I can eliminate D and E because it's not 3 in the front, it's 9. Okay, first number. So when it comes to the first number, you need to pick it from here, not on the outside. Okay, always pick from inside the parentheses. So we're doing 3. Middle number is 35. And then up here, you need to multiply. This is 3 times 72. Definitely use your calculator because I would not want to do that in my head. So 216. So we need to multiply to 216. Since this is a plus at the end, we need to add to 35. All right, looking at your answer choices, I'm guessing it might be something with an 8 or a 9. I don't know. Let's do 216 divided by 9. 24, so 9 plus 24 is 33. Okay, so we're going to go back. We're going to try 8. 8 plus 27 is 35. So we're going to use 8 and 27. So 8 and 27. All right, look at your signs. I end on a plus, so they are the same sign. The first digit is what they both are, so they are both positive. So positive, positive, you need to reduce. Okay, so check your 8 divided by 3, then use the math, enter, enter to reduce. So that just came back out as 8 over 3. Okay, so you're going to divide these, then you hit math, enter, enter. Okay, so we're going to do the other side. So 27 divided by 3, then it didn't give me a decimal, but if it did, I would do the math, enter, enter. So this is 9, and I need a placeholder underneath, so that's a 1. Bottoms up for your answer. So this is going to be 3a plus 8, and then you need to use the reduced side, so a plus 9. So the answer for 18 is B. Okay, 19. You only have 2 terms. You cannot do an X when you only have 2 terms. You have to have 3 terms to do the X factor method. Since I only have 2, I cannot do the X factor method. So what you are going to do is common factor. So that's the method you need to do. You cannot do the X. So I need to figure out what divides into 8 and 4 evenly. You want the highest number. Okay? Okay, so what divides into 8 and 4? That would be 4. Okay, look at your exponents, your variable. Is it in both spots? If it is, take out the lowest exponent. So take out the lowest exponent. If it's in both spots. It's got to be in both spots. If it's not, then you can't take anything out. So we're going to take out an n because 2 versus 1, 1 is the smallest. Start your parentheses. 8 divided by 4 would be 2. Subtract on your exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring the sign down in the middle. 4 divided by 4 would be 1. N minus n is nothing. You end your parenthesis. And so the answer would be D for this one. Okay, so you divide the whole numbers. And then you subtract on the exponents. Okay, well, there is a little bit of time left, so I can go back and do number 14. If you ran out of time, then this should be good enough for your the answers that you would need for your final. Okay, we're going to multiply here. So 7 times 7 is 49. Count your number of p's you have. So there's 2, so that's p squared. 7 times negative 3 would be negative 21p. Do the other part. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21p. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. Bring down the first, add in the middle, bring down the last. So 49p squared. Negative 21 plus a negative 21 is a negative 42p plus 9. All right, good luck on your final.